Welcome to Reading the Bible Together and to Genesis chapter 43, which is in many ways a repetition and amplification of chapter 42 and Joseph's plot of revenge against his brothers. Now that thirst for revenge, while understandable, is not without consequences. Chapter 42 ends with Jacob's lament, "You have deprived me of my children. Joseph is no more. Simeon is no more. Now you want to take Benjamin. Everything is against me." And chapter 3 will begin in much the same way. The family desperate, driven to desperate ends, and old Jacob now resigned to misery, saying, "As for me, if I'm bereaved, I am bereaved." Jacob has given up hope. I don't think hurting his father was Joseph's intent. Jacob had never been anything other than kind to Joseph, overly kind. But revenge has a way of inflicting collateral damage, even upon those who are exacting the revenge. Well, to the story. The grain sent back to Canaan has run out. The famine is unabated. The family is starving. They need to return to Egypt to procure food, or that'll be it for the lot of them. Jacob, regarding the imprisoned Simeon as a lost cause and unwilling to sacrifice his new favorite, Benjamin, sees the need but is unwilling to face up to the situation. Either the brothers return to Egypt with Benjamin, or they cannot return at all. Well, there's the inevitable rounds of recriminations. "This is your fault. No, it's your fault." Well, the harsh reality sinks in. They have to go. Much as Reuben had done earlier, Judah pledges to take responsibility for the safe return of Benjamin. There's an important distinction, though. Reuben pledged the life of his sons. Judah pledges his own life. That tells us a bit about Reuben and Judah, and why ultimately Judah becomes the de facto older brother, despite being younger in years. "Besides, Dad," says Judah, "if you'd made up your mind earlier, we would have been there and back already, twice even." So finally, under this pressure, Jacob reluctantly agrees. But as he had done earlier in his reunion with Esau, he sweetens the pot with bribes. But not too much. A little balm, a little honey, some spices, some myrrh, some, the most valuable products, but not too much. If the plan falls through, Jacob is holding something back in reserve. Plus, they have to give back the silver from the original purchase and bring extra to purchase more so they can ensure they won't be convicted of theft. Well, permission given, silver loaded, they go, we are told, hurrying all the way. They join the line to see Joseph. Joseph spots Benjamin, and so tells his steward to bring them over to Joseph's own house for dinner. A feast is to be prepared. Well, you'd think the brothers would be happy, but instead they're terrified. They're being brought from a public place, the market, to a private place. Is this all a plot to enslave or even murder them and to take their donkeys? I love that line. To the brothers impoverished by famine, it seems possible that Joseph, blessed with the entire wealth of the fabulously wealthy Egypt, should covet, of all things, their donkeys. But it is all they have. In fear, they approach the steward in the courtyard of the house. They explain the mystery of the silver. "Look, we didn't know. We left. They found it in the bags. Everybody was surprised. Now we brought it back. We brought double the amount." The steward calms their fears. "Don't be afraid. Your God, the God of your father, has given you treasure in your sacks. I received your silver. Payment's been made. Nothing to worry about." Is the steward in on Joseph's plan? He must be, to say such a thing. Anyway, perhaps as a result of their honesty in bringing the original silver and the extra silver back, the brothers are rewarded with the return of the hostage Simeon. Well, the amazement continues. The brothers are brought into the house. They're treated like honored guests. They're even provided with water to wash their feet. A considerable courtesy. You may remember Jesus complaining that no such courtesy had been extended to him at one memorable meal. Even their precious donkeys are well cared for. Nevertheless, filled with nerves, they carefully prepared the gifts they had brought, arraying them for best effect. And upon Joseph's entrance, they all bow to the ground. All the brothers, The full set this time, just like in Joseph's dream. Joseph asks after their health, and then revealingly after the health of Jacob. Is he still alive? The brothers don't answer, yes, he's alive, but this deal with Benjamin just about killed him. We think he's just kind of given up. Thanks for nothing. Instead, they answer, your servant, our father, is alive and well. And we read they bowed down, prostrating themselves before him. Now, don't just zip past that verse. It's important. Let's back up a second. You see, the brothers describe Jacob as your servant, our father, after which they bow down and prostrate themselves. You see, now this fulfills Joseph's other dream, where not only the brothers, but the father, through being called your servant, and the mother, represented by Benjamin, Rachel's other son, along with Joseph, they all bow down before him. The dreams are fulfilled. The revenge is complete. Joseph, overwhelmed, has to leave the room for a good cry. And so now, all that needed to be accomplished has been accomplished, and it's formalized by the eating of a meal. Not quite together, though. For the Egyptians, eating with Hebrews was considered detestable, we're told, which is a neat twist upon the Jewish culture of Jesus' day, where for the Pharisees, as well as for other observant Jewish sects, eating with Gentiles, pagans, Romans, and other non-Jews was considered detestable. In another curious note, we read that the brothers are seated in order of age, which amazes them. You see, Joseph is giving them clues, but they continue to be oblivious to his identity, even when he rubs it in a bit by making sure that Benjamin, Joseph's only full brother, all the others are stepbrothers, Benjamin is given 5 times the amount of food. But still, they don't get it. The brothers nevertheless tuck in, eating freely with him, we are told. So, all's well that ends well. The deceptions and trickery are at an end. No, they're not. Despite the fulfillment of his dreams, Joseph still wants to stick it to these brothers of his who threw him in a pit and left him to rot, so they supposed, in harsh Egyptian slavery. But this sordid tale of continued revenge will have to wait for next time in Genesis chapter 44 as we continue to read the Bible together. We'll see you then.